Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Harvey County Talk. I'm your host, Lance Gormley. Our guest on the program today is Patrick Charlsen, who is here as a representative for Kiwanis.
Right.
Newton.
Yep.
It's Newton Kiwanis Club,
Yep.
correct? As anybody knows who's watched the program, we've endeavored to get all of the people that are involved in the four largest civic organizations in Harvey County. And so you are number 4,
All
Mr.
right.
Charleston.
Yeah.
But
That sounds about right, actually.
It was nice because when I reached out, I said on the last program when I did one with Rotary, I said, I thought I would just get the presidents and
Sure.
have the presidents come out and stuff. And it turns out that not every president of a civic organization wants to be on camera
Yeah.
and taking a video.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know if you had all seen this coming or something that I
Yes.
mentioned it. And I was like, well, when I reached out, I was just got an immediate response, and you guys were just absolutely happy to come on the program. And when they said you were going to be the one, I was just glad that you were the one, because I
Yeah.
kind of know you, but I don't know a lot
Sure,
about
absolutely.
you. So I'm interested, absolutely interested. So
Cool.
before we get too far into it about what Kiwanis is and why you're a member of Kiwanis, what you do, can you just give the audience a little bit of about who you are for those that don't know you? Are you a Newton native? Kind of what's the rundown on who Patrick is?
So I born here, raised here, left Newton when I graduated high school in 2004. Went to Emporia State, graduated from there, not in 4 years, but in 5. And then I moved back kind of in the area, in Wichita, around the area, and started working for my dad, Charlsen Insurance. He's in Halstead, and I opened up an office a couple years later in Newton. I'm married, 2 kids, 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, both girls. And I mean, just like most parents, that's most of my life is the kids and my wife and that type of stuff. Avid Jayhawk fan, avid Chiefs fan, big supporter of all things Newton. The cliche, shop local, that's kind of my dig. So
You're all about shoes and Newton.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So like, I don't know if I'm not much of a boaster for myself, but yeah, I never expected I'd come back to Newton by any stretch. Very happy I did. Perfect place to raise a family, even though some people act like it maybe isn't, but I'm very happy with my decision. Yeah, that's just kind of who I am, I guess, at this point.
So you're a Newton native, Newtonian through and through. I could say that.
Yep.
You a businessman here locally. I will say an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
that's
sort of,
awesome.
yeah.
Married, kids, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I know what I know of you is that you are a family-oriented person. I see you out and about, and for you to say that you're about all things Newton, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
There's never a time in which I'm endeavoring to do anything out in the public.
Right.
I don't see you.
Yeah.
I mean, we've tag team on stuff
Absolutely.
before, just in different locations,
Yeah,
doing
volunteering
different
and stuff.
things. Yeah, volunteering. But so anyway, I suppose let's get to the skinny.
Yeah.
What is Kiwanis? I mean, I know next to nothing.
I know,
about
right?
Kiwanis.
It's kind of like how we like it, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
you like to be the secret
Yeah,
society.
we're kind of
right? You're
under the
competing
radar.
with the Masons. So, yeah.
We're right up there. So I mean, it's as simple and as cliche as what our mission statement goes as, and we say this before every meeting. Kiwanis is a global organization providing services to children and communities alike. I kind of butchered that up because it's a lot longer. But anyway, so our main purpose, Kiwanis, and this is why I joined, was we serve children and children only. We don't venture off and give things to, we're not really loose with what we fund or what we support. Our main focus are kids, underprivileged kids mostly. And we're international, so we stretch that out over, oh man, I should have brought the paper, but many countries, over 200 some countries. And so a lot of our payments and stuff that we have go to the services that they're providing. Like they just did a neonatal tetanus thing, because a lot of countries in Africa don't have this for when kids come out. Like our kids get it when they come out, and it helps save lives. And we met our goal last year, and I have that. I can find that for later. Yeah. But we met our goal for that last year, and 2 years early, to help raise funds for that. And it's just, so basically how that works is every Kiwanis organization throughout the country and world helps provide a certain amount of funds for that. And kind of what we're going through now with Kiwanis is a rebrand, not just here, but kind of internationally. It's kind of like most clubs. You kind of go roller coaster up and down. You kind of ebbs and flows of things. And COVID really hit us really bad. We were up in the higher numbers as far as it goes for us. And then we lost a lot of members when COVID happened.
Yeah.
So
COVID was interesting. I'll say, having been involved in 2 different civic organizations through COVID.
Yeah.
COVID hit everybody.
Yeah,
hard,
it was bad.
And it's very difficult to get people back involved. But I hope that this is helping with that, that people are able to
1000%,
see, right? So Kiwanis individually is unique because, like you had mentioned, they're just focused on children. So is the umbrella is that we're focused on children, but is it just anything under that included in that?
So yeah, good question. So mostly we decide that as a board, but yeah, like we fund a lot of the places here around town. I don't want to name anybody specifically because I don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah.
But we give out applications. We actually have a board meeting tomorrow, so it's kind of good timing for going over some of the applications that we give out for our scholarships every year.
Okay.
So every December we go over the applications that we had sent out, typically in November. And we go over those, and then we fund those. We give those funds to people at the beginning of the next year.
And what does it have to take if somebody's just kind of in the line with what you all do and how you affect and make impact in the community? So youth are able to just be able to apply for a scholarship.
Yeah, it's
of some
that simple.
kind?
It is literally that simple. So
it has to be academic. Surely there's some requirements.
not even really that. Like so. Gosh, I don't want to name anybody specific, but so, I mean, if somebody has an organization that they provide a certain service, food, clothes, whatever it may be, then they would apply for that grant application, and then we would decide on the amount of money. Like, so they could ask for a specific amount.
Okay.
It's that simple. And so one of our big things we do is, so we meet weekly, which is unique to a lot of clubs, where I think we might be the only one that meets every single week.
I do believe that, yeah.
So we do every single week, and we meet at the back of a bread basket. And we typically try to have a presenter there. This is one of my favorite things about it. Like, I think a lot of people are kind of turned off about the fact that we meet every week because it feels like a commitment, but it's not like you got to be at 80% of these. It's not that big a deal. But anyway, so we have a presenter every week, which can be kind of hard because, there's not that many people in this area. Well, there is, you actually come to find, but on the surface, you think there's not a lot of people. So throughout those, we try to pinpoint people that we would like to hear speak. So we reach out to an organization that we found out or heard through the grapevine that they're doing this for a certain kid or whatever. So then we have them come talk to us, and that's kind of a way for them in like an interview, I guess, to the whole club. And then we reach out to them after and be like, hey, here's an application, come at the end of the year. We'd like for you to send it in so our board can discuss how much money we'd like to fund you guys.
Very cool.
That's kind of how we do it. And it's unique in that way and every week. And it can be, I love that we meet every week, but I can totally see how it's like every week to people. But I think it's my favorite part.
Well, there's nothing wrong with meeting every week.
I love it.
I was, when I was doing 2 different civic organizations, I was going 3 times.
Yeah.
Right, in a month.
It's a commitment.
So it is. It's a commitment. And really, when you think about the time, so okay, that brings me to this. If I was interested in Kiwanis and I was listening to this right now and wondering, okay, well, I go meet at the bread basket. Give me a little more detail about maybe what a meeting would consist of. Some surely times change here and there and over time or whatever, but kind of what would somebody generally expect from showing up to a Kiwanis meeting?
Okay, yeah, that's pretty simple. So every Monday we meet. Noon. That is very, very much always a Monday, always at noon. Obviously, we move that for holidays and things like that, so that's kind of a moving target. But so we sit and eat, we converse. There's a lot of different types of people there. I know everybody says that about their civic clubs, but I don't know. Ours is just, I've been to a bunch, and ours is just very unique. And we're getting older, which is to me really cool because I get to talk to a lot of people that I have nothing in common in, but then you find out you have a lot in common with.
Yeah.
So that's been probably my favorite part of it. But we're like I talked earlier, we're trying to rebrand and bring new people in, and we're kind of picky about who we bring in. I'd just much rather have quality over quantity.
So is there a process then, like, then if you wanted to participate in Kiwanis, you're likely to be able to show up to a meeting if you hear about it, right?
Easy peasy, yeah.
And then from there, you would do like some kind of an application process just to say, hey, I want to be a member.
Yep.
And then really, having it weekly is not a bad thing.
I think it's great.
And
we have people who only come once a month, and that's awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one thing that I don't like about one particular civic organization that I'm a part of, and it's not a bad thing in anything,
Sure.
but it's just it's difficult for me. Let's say I miss that mark, then it's an entire another month before I can go and fraternize, with my people that I enjoy being with.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, that's one of the reasons why you enjoy Kiwanis. So how long have you been a member of Kiwanis?
I have been, I think I'm going to 5 years, or 5.5 probably. Okay. Let's call it 5.5. Yep.
And so,
go ahead.
As far as that's concerned, that gives you the ability to really establish long-lasting relationships with people. You're not a newbie anymore. Right?
No, not at all. I mean, and not even, I'm kind of this person, like I'm not going to straddle the line, and so that's why sometimes I try to stay away from stuff, because I know if I get too close, I'm just gonna jump all in. And and I can overextend myself, and that's okay. I'd rather do it in that sense and for those types of things. But when I first joined, Bruce Beheimer, a good buddy of mine, he kind of convinced me. And honestly, the initial reason I wanted to join was with kids, and I'd be lying if I said, hey, lunch meeting. So that's easy. It's not after work.
Good call.
And so those were the reasons. I was like, this is simple.
Yeah.
Be easy, right? And then I got in, I met a bunch of the people, and then I just kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, hey, can I come to a board meeting? And then yeah. So then, just a couple months in, I was a board member, and then that following calendar year, I became president, and then COVID hit, and I was president for 2 years.
President.
Yeah, so I kind of was just there for 2 years. He's just one year term. So I was like 2.5.
It's amazing how many other organizations did that. I think just let's hold the line here.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. Which was fine, but because I think it was probably better that I had not been in the club forever.
Yeah.
It's probably good for me to be there, because I was like, all right, let's wing it. Because a lot of people wouldn't want to wing it. They'd probably get stressed and be like, no, we got to keep to what we were. So
and that was an interesting time for everybody.
It's crazy.
So you had mentioned that it's at lunchtime, right? So then who doesn't want to have like a lunch meeting?
Yeah, especially at Breadbasket.
And then Breadbasket. I have to send out a shout out to Breadbasket. But with that, you meet once a week over lunch, and then well, you said you had speakers that came. How long does the meeting last? By the time you come in, sit down, grab a bite to eat, and then hear a speaker.
So we're pretty hard on that 1 hour, because again, most people are at work, so you got to get back to work. So we start a meeting at noon. We kind of just eat, and it's semi-rush as far as the eating part goes, but you also don't have to be. It depends if you're speaking at our meeting. So it's 12:15 is our eating time, 12:20 maybe, and then we kind of have a beginning area of our meeting where we just talk about kind of what's going on to keep people in the know. And we do a thing that I just absolutely love, and I'm so happy we still do it. It's called Happy Sad Dollars, and I'm sure other clubs do things like this, but it's you just stand up and you give $1 for anything. Something bad happens, something great happened. I mean, and it's so fun, and it's such a unique way to donate money to the club, obviously, to learn something about somebody. Like, I mean, you just hear about people's grandkids. They have now a great grandkid, or you hear about my kids, and it's just it's the coolest thing. That's probably the most unique and cool thing about meeting weekly, because you literally get to hear from every single person in the club.
Well, it allows you to have good relationship. It's
without having to have a conversation, because sometimes it's hard to talk. Like you're talking to somebody else, so then it's kind of forced. Like, hey, here's my update in life. I love it,
and that's cool. So what are some things that Kiwanis does here locally that people would be like, oh, I knew. Like, what's some things that people would be like able to attach something that Kiwanis is doing with something that they know in the community?
So I'm not sure there is anything right yet. I'm hoping one of these will be. So we used to always do a pancake feed, just like Lions, but we did ours in February. Theirs is always around the election. And it was fun, and it worked, and it raised money. But kind of with COVID, I mean, first of all, it's a lot of work when you don't have a lot of members. We only had like 40 some members at the time. So it's a lot of work. And then we were just like, we need to kind of have our own thing. Like, we're kind of just copying Lions, which isn't a bad thing. They're successful. They're amazing at what they do. So it's like, it's not necessarily horrible, but we got to try to find our own thing. So we kind of got rid of it. So during COVID, speaking of Breadbasket, we used them for a spaghetti feed. It was like a drive-through spaghetti feed. And that was early COVID. So it was like before no one wanted to be around anybody.
Very
still.
cool.
So we did that, and that was pretty successful. Just in general, I think it didn't help that people kind of didn't want to get out. So, I mean, we raised a little bit of money, enough to kind of keep funding the clubs and organization that we wanted to. And then it kind of just, we did that for 2 years. And then we were like, guys, I just don't know if this is going to be worth it. We're thank goodness for Chad, who runs Breadbasket. He donated a lot of that stuff. So, like, if that weren't it, then we would be, in the red. So we tried to switch it. So, like, all right, you know what? Let's not try to worry about it. Let's stop a full year of trying to raise money. Let's not even worry about that, because if at the end of the day, if we didn't raise a single dollar, that doesn't mean we're not doing our job. We should be doing things to help the community. So it so happened that Stuff the Bus that they do out of Walmart.
Very cool.
To the person I don't know what happened. I think COVID again. It just kind of got dropped and no one wanted to pick it up. So I knew a lady that kind of was trying to Band-Aid fix it. And so I talked to her and she just kind of handed it to us. So we took it over.
Nice.
So we did it at Walmart last year. It was our first full year of doing it. Mm-hmm. And then this year, I was like, we had a meeting and we were like, well, we're kind of like, support Walmart, no problem. But we're like, we're not practicing what I preach about shopping local. So I was like, so I reached out to Maria Anderson for Anderson Bookstore. And I talked to him and I was like, hey, what can we do to kind of, like, obviously we want to scratch everybody's back, Right. Obviously Walmart's a one-stop shop. So, like, the convenience is there.
Yeah.
But Anderson does the backpack thing. That's amazing. Like, no one does anything like that. So we're like, let's like those. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And so we were like, let's just get something, this was our first year doing it at Anderson. 1 year at Walmart. This year we did it at Anderson and Walmart. So we're kind of in the rough stages for that, but I think that's just going to blow up because it's downtown. I mean, it's going to be so much better. So that's kind of our new thing.
Like, even then, you say that, and I remember being on the program and specifically talking about making sure that people were aware who listen to the program to get on down there and help out with that. And I just, thinking, I'm just very intrigued by the find a need and fill a need, right?
Yeah, it's so fun.
And then that turned into a situation that was just awesome that your organization's able to drive.
Yeah, it was perfect, yep.
And I don't know, I'll make a suggestion. You should drive that bus around.
We've talked about that, yes.
Do it at Dollar General or do it at Walgreens.
A full week or something,
just like move it around.
That's exactly what we said.
People would be able to,
even if it's not somewhere you could buy a school supply. It's just there, and and they could drop it off.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, everywhere
support a business.
Supplies.
Yeah, anything.
If you're a retailer, you better be selling something.
A pencil,
there's pens or pencils or something.
No, I couldn't agree more. We actually mentioned that, and I think it'd be really fun. So I think it's just like we're gonna blossom it, but I hope that no matter what we do, I hope that it becomes. Of course, it doesn't mean like, oh, Kiwanis, that's their reason. No, that's not why we do it. But I want that to be a thing.
Well, it needs to be your reason. By goodness, it's okay for that to be the case. It's okay to attach yourself and all your hard work and effort
pat
to
our
that.
back is our pride.
That's good. And then we know that we associate that brand with that. And then we know that's the way Kiwanis gives back to those in our community, and they're focused on kids.
Yep.
So if I go and I be a part of Kiwanis, one thing I could find completely attractive about that is the fact that all of your guys' drives, all of yours, you alls, inclusively, can just, it goes directly back to benefiting kids in some way or another. And school supplies is number one way to make it happen.
It's simple.
Or it's just amazing to think that's a niche, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah. And then we got this new brand. It's new. How should I say this? We used to do it back in the day, back 20 some years ago. It's called the Bug Program.
Okay.
And I'm super excited about this. I've been trying to get this going, and we're kind of at the really beginning stages, but we're really hoping to ramp it up here at the beginning of next semester. It's called Bug Program, Bring Upgrades.
Okay.
So it's real simple, and it isn't like, hey, this kid had a B, now he has an A. It could be anything. It could be a kid came to school on time for a week, whatever the teacher wants it to be.
Good job.
And so the point of this is I have kids that go to elementary school at South Breeze, and they do this morning kind of roundup assembly thing in the beginning, and they do a superhero kid thing. It's just like for a kid picking up trash or something. And there's nothing cooler for children than to just be recognized. They don't need a Sonic gift card. They don't need anything. It'd be cool to have that. They just want a pat on the back, a hoorah at a kid thing. Yeah. So they already kind of do something like that, but we want to gear ours a little bit more towards the academic side of it. Theirs is for like anything, just high five and just like simple civic things in school that they already do. It's called Superhero Kid. We want to do ours, bring upgrades. So something in that realm more academically. kind of let the teachers, we don't want to give them more work to do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they do a lot.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to kind of let this organic, and we're really in the beginning stages of that to revamp this, because it used to be a thing they used to do. And we're hoping we can find some partners in the community that will help us give either, well, we're going to figure out a way to get the certificate, something, but like maybe a Sonic drink or whatever it may be, any type of, commodity that the kid can also get for that bug.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So once again, finding a way to, you mentioned that Kiwanis is rebranding and that you all are looking at finding ways to be able to just focus in on the community. Stuff the bus is one good way to do it. Bringing up grades is another way to do it. Is there a specific reason? And I mean, I'm not asking a dumb question here, but I'm sending it out there. For you personally, you were interested in Kiwanis because they serve the most needy, which are kids, right? That are completely have no control over their circumstances.
Vulnerable,
Period. Period. Doesn't matter. No, I argue anybody with that.
Yeah,
they are victims of their circumstance. Hopefully, it's a good circumstance and not a bad one for people. But is there some reason why Kiwanis has decided that they just want to focus on kids? I mean, is that really what it comes down to?
I think it's just
to say, hey,
I wish I could answer
all
that.
these other civic organizations do this,
I think,
and nobody's focusing on just kids alone. When did Kiwanis come about? I mean, I'm interested.
I totally understand. I totally understand. So
I'm gonna like grade you. Wikipedia says that you.
It's definitely in there, and that's where I'm about to cite. Like, I actually don't know, and I probably knew when I was president because I was like dialed in on it. But so no, I sometimes I'm jealous though, because some of the other clubs, like, they kind of have just a broad, and I don't want to say checkbook because that cheapens it, but they have a broad spectrum. They can just be like, oh, we're gonna help this, oh, we're gonna help this, oh, we're gonna help this. And sometimes I'm sitting back, I'm like, oh, I really wish we could do that. But at the end of the day, when we're doing these things, like, it completely, and these things are a little more like the stuff the bus only once a year, so it's like sometimes I forget, and then we get to that point and I'm like, oh, look at this bus, like random people who probably don't have a dollar in their name are throwing stuff in there for these kids, and it's just so fulfilling. So no, I mean, I don't know why exactly they decided kids, but it is an international thing where that is our focus, and it's just been the driving force forever. So and it is nice, and it is also sometimes a bummer because we can't do other things, but it does help us focus and that's been nice for us too, because we've kind of totally taken a couple steps back from trying to fundraise. Like, we don't right now, we're still kind of in the middle of don't have a big fundraiser. So that's why we're just going all in, boots on the ground, so to speak, type of thing with the Stuff the Bus and the bug program. So it's like, if we can't fund something, then what are we doing? Okay, well, we can be there for somebody.
Work with our hands.
And so it's kind of it's been tough. I think our international people maybe are a little bummed at us because I mean, our numbers have dropped significantly. So we're trying to figure it out.
Everybody's numbers have dropped significantly.
Absolutely. And again, quality over quantity. That's all I care about. And I know that's why I'm not my friend. I could probably ask every one of my friends to be in Kiwanis, but I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't want to pressure somebody to join something that they're not going to fully commit to. And everybody in our club currently, and even though it's small, that everybody committed. Like, everybody shows up to pretty much everything. So it's kind of an okay thing. So currently I actually forgot to bring the socks, so I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble. We're currently selling socks right now, Christmas socks, and they're actually really, really cool. So that's our fundraiser for now for this year to kind of help, because we obviously have funds from our dues and things like that, and just over time we've saved some money so we can give to people if they need it. So right now we're currently selling socks, $16.99. They're Kiwanis socks. I'll try to share a link again, but
you can do that when this comes up and out. Then make sure and tag your link in there or whatever, and that will send people right there. Or send me some information, and I'll try to spice it up.
They're objectively really cool socks.
You can have these Christmas socks. We could just have you hold your hand up and say these Christmas socks, and then I'll put like some emoji in there or something.
Wouldn't look corny at all. I'd love it.
Whatever, I catches people's attention. I mean, we're good.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I kind of tried to give question you a little bit as far as why Kiwanis might be just specifically designed for kids, and it's probably just simply because they're the ones for that.
I know. It sounds kind of,
It's, well, I mean, hey, it's what it is. Sometimes it's not worth overcomplicating something. But when you know, you're talking about doing something and being boots on the ground, and I just want to encourage you, you know, a lot of civic organizations, although having more of a pocketbook than others, don't have as many boots on the ground.
Sure.
And so, you know, networking with one another through various civic organizations to support each other in our endeavors is key in the community.
That's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, and we do that here, you know. But ultimately, we're coming kind of to the end of the program, and I just want to, if you've ever listened to the program, you know that everybody that sits across from me gets the last chance to speak directly to the hearts and the minds of everybody listening. Yeah. So I guess here's your chance.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to anybody listening, Kiwanis or anything in between?
I guess I would have to say, without doing a shameless plug, just trying to raise money, we do have socks for sale. They're really cool. I messed up and didn't bring them, so I guess that's why I'm not president anymore. No, Kiwanis is a great place if you're looking to get involved. It's kind of it's low key. We meet weekly, but you don't have to meet weekly. Everybody in there we feel like a family. Again, I know that's something everybody says, but I love that we focus solely on children. We don't have a wide or broad spectrum as far as like where we decide. So it's just pretty straightforward. If someone helps a kid, we help that person help a kid. Or if we're doing anything that can help a kid, we can. We're currently working on that bug program I mentioned, bring up grades. So if anybody has any ideas for that, we're pretty open to that. We just kind of have the base for that. This next summer we'll do Stuff the Bus, and Lance came up with a phenomenal idea about driving around. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that one this next year. So, if you're not involved in Kiwanis, get involved in something. It's worth it. I know it feels like a large commitment. Even if you commit yourself to just a couple times a year, it's worth it, and it'll fulfill more of you than you ever would realize.
Yeah, be involved.
Yep,
be involved. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the program for certain. I look forward to doing this in the future. Since you're the last one in the thing, I just got to say I would want to invite everybody back next year.
Cool.
To be able to just tell me what they're doing. And hopefully it's at times that are beneficial to everybody. Yeah. We didn't get timing down, but this would have been great to do a couple weeks in advance of Stuff the Bus, you know? So when those things come up or anything, we're going to make it happen together.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Maybe we could do one at Stuff the Bus. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah, we can live feed.
That'd be sweet.
I don't know. It's a always interesting thing.
Oh,
but,
I'm sure it'd be a nightmare. For you.
It doesn't matter. That's awesome. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. And thanks for listening to this episode of Harvey County Talk. As always, I was your host, Lance Gormley. And our guest on the program today was Patrick Charlsen. He was representative here for Kiwanis. Thank you for coming on, Patrick.
Thanks, Lance. Appreciate it, man.
We appreciate you.